Hey everybody, it's that time of the week again. Time for a new video. And as I said in the last video, this video is going to be about making dioramas. I've never tried this before, actually creating something 3D. I've done a lot of doodles in my day, a lot of drawing, things of that nature, some painting. So I'm not completely ignorant about the whole process. I've looked up a lot of content on YouTube, a lot of guys out there and ladies out there putting out some amazing content, kind of going over the process for people like me, beginners. And so I decided, I like my shelves to display the figures in a way where they kind of tell a story, where they evoke something out of you. And I went over this in the last video. I don't want just figures standing on the shelf and being all boring. So I decided I'm going to try my hand at dioramas. I haven't started yet. I've just got all the stuff in. I'm going to quickly go over that and talk about what it is and what the point is and kind of what my end goals are. And hopefully down the road you'll see some progression videos about where I started and what the result was. Now I know that starting something new, you're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to expect my first projects to be these masterpieces. And that's what halts a lot of people from trying new things, is they want their first item. They want their first creative process to be this amazing masterpiece that they're completely happy with. And oftentimes that's not the case. You can ask any kind of author, any painter. There's a lot of rough drafts that go into the process. So we'll get to that later. But right now we're going to talk about, just getting started. All right, what you see here are some items that I picked up in order to get this diorama thing started. And I took a lot of advice from some other YouTubers on what you need in order to actually get started, which it doesn't really take a whole lot. A lot of the guys recommend if you're just trying to get in there and fool around and make some small things here and there and you're wanting to get started, you're new to it, you only really need about 5 colors total. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg on this paint and stuff. But for me, I did go ahead and go with this 14 color, 10 ounce per tube paint set, which is acrylic paints, water soluble, which is safe for the type of foam that I'm going to be using as my medium for the dioramas. After that, we've got some paint brushes here. You need a good paint set or paintbrush set. It doesn't, again, quality, if you're starting out, just start with something cheap. That way, if it doesn't work out the way you want to, or if you decide it's not for you, you're not throwing a whole bunch of money at it. Which this is like a little basic set. It's got, I think, about 15 or so brushes of various sizes. It's got a couple scrapers, some sponges, a little case, and a palette. After that, we've got some Mod Podge, which this is great for a base coat type sealer that hardens the foam and makes it easier for paint to adhere. Now, Black Magic Craft actually recommends to add some black to your Mod Podge. You don't have to pour it into the big container. If you get a smaller container, pour some Mod Podge in it, put some black paint in there. And the reason why he recommends that is because when this stuff normally dries clear. So when you're using it as a base coat, and you want to see and make sure that you've covered everything. You don't want any spots that aren't covered with the sealer because it might absorb some of the paint or the paint bleeds through. So this will make sure if you add the paint to it, add the black to it, it gives it color, and you can make sure that you've completely covered the surface before you begin painting. So next off, you need a glue gun. A glue gun is just kind of there to hold various things together. It's not really used for much more than that, to be honest with you. If you've got small items, rocks, barrels, pillars, things of that nature that you want fixed on the base or on a wall or something, hot glue gun is probably going to work best for that. Moving on from there, we have some Finish Jet Dry, which is basically just a flow aid for our washes. I'm going to be making my own washes using inks. It was recommended to use 3 of them. because not all washes are going to be black. Some are you're going to want green. Some you're going to want like a burnt umber kind of brownish color, depending on what you're doing. Now, this video isn't a tutorial on how to do any of this. There's plenty of videos out there for that. This is just kind of a quick overview of what I've picked up, what I plan on doing with it, and why I got it. So these are for making my own washes, which is basically ink, water, and a flow aid. Flow aid basically just helps that wash spread out better. So that's the main purpose of Jet Dry. And it's just, you can actually get different flow aids. Jet Dry just happens to be one of the least expensive alternatives. Plus, if you have a dishwasher, it's multi-purpose. And last but not least, this is basically what the dioramas are going to be made of. This is a insulation foam. This is called Foamular. I got it from Home Depot. For these little 1 inch by 2 foot squared pieces, I think it was like $6. You can get bigger pieces for not much more, so you get more bang for the buck when you buy the bigger pieces. But since I'm just getting started out and I'm kind of learning how to do it, I don't want to throw a bunch of money out there right now. As I get better, obviously I'll step up my game. But again, this can be found in the insulation area, usually around the lumber area of Home Depots. Not sure if it can be found at Lowe's. I'm sure it could, but I was recommended to go to Home Depot for this stuff, and it's pretty sturdy, and it's a lot more durable than styrofoam. At first, I was going to use some styrofoam, but styrofoam just seems too spongy, and styrofoam might work great for, you know, add-ons like boulders or environmental effects and stuff like that. But as far as a base for walls and things of that, you wanted something a little more sturdy in order to do that. Another video that I saw actually recommends on how to connect these, because one of the first things I was worried about is if I ever made any of these to sell, which may happen down the road, may not. How would you ship something like this? How would you ship a big old 3D diorama that's, you know, a foot wide, 10 inches tall, and, you know, 10 inches deep? You know, the box would have to be a pretty large size. Well, a lot of these guys use magnets to hold the walls and the floors together. They basically just get some earth magnets, insert them into the edges, line them up with the wall, put some in the wall as well with opposite poles so they attract, and that way when you put the walls up together, the magnets hold it in place. That way if you need to disassemble it, put it up for storage, ship it out or whatever, you can take the walls from the base, lay them flat, ship them out, and you're good to go. Or put them in a storage tote for safekeeping. So again, this video is not meant to be any kind of tutorial. It's basically just me going over the basics of the items that I got to get this diorama project going. I'm pretty excited about it. I've got all these ideas going through my head. Don't know, you know how the brainstorming process goes. You don't know what's going to stick, what's not, what you can do, what your limitations are. I'm going to start off a little small. I'm probably going to make some environmental effects, set them on, you know, and just kind of hone how you cut it, how you paint it, make sure that I learn how to do that properly. And then once I feel like I got the hang of it, then I'm going to try to do a diorama. And I mentioned that I think my first two projects are going to be either one, it's going to be the Master Universe Revelations, or it's going to be those NECA TMNT. I'm really excited about those. I'm excited about the scale of them. Because the NECA TMNT I still have not taken out of the boxes. We're going to do an unboxing later. I've got a lot of things going through my head. And I'm really excited to get started. And again, hopefully later on down the road, I'll have progress videos showing what I did. I will leave links in the description below to any of the videos that I watched. That way you can support those channels. The great people on there. A few of them are Jerry's Artorama, Black Magic Crafts, and Neuro Soup. Those are three that I really watched quite a bit of in order to kind of get a good grasp on how to get this going, how to get it started. Again, I'm excited to get this going. I'm excited to get started, and hopefully I'll have some content featuring some of these dioramas that I've made in the future. So stick around, and thanks for watching. It is recording, so. Alright, get out of here. You're still here? What are you doing? Like my video, subscribe to my channel, and help this poor toy collector achieve his dream of not being such a poor toy collector. Thanks.